Hello everyone. When I copied the knight from the ghost, I neglected to ensure that the knight sets up in the right costume. So I'm just going to fix that now before we do anything else. So in knight setup, put in switch costume to the very first costume. Alright everyone, so as you can see here, I am within the range of the knight, and so he's attacking rather than moving towards me, but look where he's attacking. He's attacking in the wrong direction. And so in this video, I'm going to fix that. I'm going to make sure that he attacks in the direction that the wizard is in. So the first thing to do is, let's look at costumes. And we'll notice that after we have the lateral attack, the sideways attack, next we have a downward attack. And that is also a rank 4, so 9, 10, 11, and 12 is the downward attack. And then 13, 14, 15, and 16 are an upward attack. So what we have to do is we have to get the knight to figure out which direction is the wizard in, and then attack in the appropriate direction. So what really matters is this starting point here. So right now, this puts the knight at the starting point for a lateral attack. And then the rest of this code just goes through the sideways attack and then the retreat, before going back to the ordinary code for just walking around. So what we need to do is we need to replace this with something a little bit more complex that selects the starting point based upon where the wizard is. So let's make a new block and let's call it select attack direction. And then what we're going to do just to begin with is we're just going to put that in there. And we're going to put this in here. And that is a total of nothing operation. We haven't changed anything. So we've just relocated this attack direction to this code here, but it just does the same thing that it used to do. So now we've got to make this do something more complicated. So I think we'll grab an if then else and grab a less than, and then if direction is less than, let's say, 60 degrees. So I'm imagining counting from the top here. So if it's less than about this, then I'm going to make you jab upwards. If it's between here and here, so between 60 and 120, I'm going to make you jab across. And if it's this distance, then I'm going to make you jab down. So that's the basic idea. So here in costumes, jab up starts at 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh, here 13, I think. 13, 14, 15, 16 for jab up. So we're just going to change this to 13. Otherwise, control if then else, duplicate if direction is less than 120. Well, that means it's above 60 because it must have failed this condition to get to here. So it's above 60, but it's less than 120. So for that, we want the lateral attack, the sideways attack. So that's going back down to number 5 again. And then lastly, if it's not less than 60 and it's not less than 120, then it must be more than 120. So for this one, we're going to do a downward strike. And then the downward strikes start at 9, 10, 11, 12. So 9. So in that case, it's 9. Now this doesn't quite work yet because all of these numbers assume that the direction is in this half of the circle. But what if it's in this half? Well, if you look at the numbers, they're all negative. So one way Scratch could have done this is it could have gone round here. This is getting up to 180, and then it could just carried on past 180 to 270 over here, and then round up towards 360. But what they did instead is they made these the negatives of these. So instead of this being 270, it's minus 90. So what we need to do is we need to check for the negatives as well. So the easy way to do this is to grab an operator, the absolute value. So instead of using direction, we use the absolute value of direction. And that way, if it's 45, then it's less than 60. But if it's minus 45, well, abs changes that to 45. That's less than 60 as well. So it's still going to be a jab upwards. If it's between minus 60 and minus 120, the abs is going to change that to the corresponding value between 60 and 120. And so it's going to fall in the range for a lateral jab. And similarly, for a downward jab, if it's between minus 120 and minus 180, abs is going to change that to 120 to 180. It's not going to change the direction of the knight. It's just going to change the value that it's evaluating. And then that's going to bring it in the range for a downward strike. So we need to do that twice. We need to do it for both times that direction appears. Before we try that out, let's just make sure that when it selects the attack direction, it faces the wizard first. So we're just going to make it point towards the wizard. It might be doing that already just from chasing him, but we'll make sure.
Yum yum.
Okay, there are some little issues there, but I am basically happy with the code that we wrote, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you for listening, and if you find this video useful, please hit like and subscribe.